And let's continue. We left off with Dessalines killing all the white people in Haiti to make a completely black republic. Not quite a republic. October 1804, Dessalines is crowned Emperor Jacques I of Haiti. And so here he is breaking the chains and being crowned by God. The new constitution declares that all citizens of Haiti are black and equal. Slavery will forever stay abolished. And all citizens have the right to own land, so he's very much listening to the people in this case. White foreigners are not allowed to own land on this island, so he's going to make sure plantations are not coming back, but at least in the way it used to work. He tries to keep the sugar industry going the same way that Louverture did, going through forced labor, forcing the people to go back to the plantations, because that's how they're going to make money. But the people really don't want to do that. And so he is assassinated in 1806. So he's assassinated after 2 years by rivals that are very critical of his forced labor policy. So ultimately, it's very similar to Louverture's story. How does the world view Haiti? And we'll see kind of, let's take a look at, so we've seen Haiti from the inside. Let's take a look at Haiti from the outside. As far as the American views, and it changes according to the presidency. Every new president has a different view on Haiti. For Washington, $400,000 and 1,000 weapons were given to French slave owners in Saint Domingue to stop the rebellion. And he saw this counting as a payment for loans that we owed to France. And so he was, as a slave owner, definitely not happy with the slave rebellion. So he's on the side of the slave masters in the early years of the slave rebellion. He also, on the other side, he declares neutrality for the war between the UK and France because he doesn't want to get involved in European fights while America is still building up. And so he's on the side of slavery, but not necessarily on the side of France in this case. Then we get John Adams, which is a little different. We have a little quasi-war with France in that the US refuses to pay debts to the new French government. We owed France a whole bunch of money, but because France killed the king and it has a completely new government, Adams doesn't necessarily recognize that new government. Plus we start to trade with England because we wanted to trade with whoever we wanted. That's why we fought the war. France sees this as trading with the enemy, so they start to take our ships. And so we have a 2-year kind of war, a quasi-war between America and France because they keep stealing our ships. And so we have 2 years of naval battles. So in the case of Adams, he is against slavery, and he's against France, and so he becomes a friend to Haiti. We stop all trade with France. Saint-Domingue, however, is not included because we start to see them as a little independent. And so we don't include them in this embargo, and we start to trade more with Haiti. And so we really support Louverture. US ships are even sent in to help Saint-Domingue to help in the blockades. And so we are very much a friend of Haiti under President Adams. Jefferson, another case, he's a slave owner, and he's a friend of France, so we switch policies again. In 1800, we get a slave revolt led by Gabriel Prosser, who was inspired by Haiti. And so Southern slaveholders are very worried about this revolt spreading, and more revolt spreading because of the Haitian Revolution. So he starts an embargo against Haiti. We will not buy or sell anything to Haiti. And he works with other countries towards diplomatic isolation, so nobody will talk to them. And nobody's going to sit with them at lunch. And we get refusal to recognize their government as legitimate until 1862. So it's not until Lincoln do we actually agree that Haiti is a country. And this starts with Jefferson getting everybody to agree not to touch this island because he wants to keep slavery strong. France convinces the UK, the US, and Spain to isolate them so that nobody will work with this island. Okay, so we won't buy or sell from them commercially. We won't recognize their diplomats. We won't recognize them as a country because it's a threat to slavery. So Haiti is shunned for really the first 50 to 60 years of its existence. As a black nation, this really threatens white nations. And so they are forced to take really bad business deals because nobody wants to trade with them. Whenever they can get trade deals, they're not going to be really fair trade deals. So they're going to have to take terrible deals because it's the only deal they can get. They really struggle to get their economy up and running again because they burned everything. because they never wanted to be slaves again. They made sure of it by burning the factories, destroying the roads, burning everything. To end the plantations, to end slavery forever, they had to destroy it all. And they destroy their own economy in the process. But they're not looking at the big picture. These are slaves, not economists. So Haiti sees Santo Domingo as a real threat for invasion. They're worried that this half of the island might try to invade and take over, even though officially it is controlled by them. So Haiti tries to unite the island for 50 years, but it just never really works out. They're just too different culturally. France tries to invade several times until they finally recognize Haitian independence in 1825. Once they finally recognize that independence, in order to prevent France from ever invading again, Haiti will have to pay for damages caused to French interest during the revolution. So they have to pay for the cost of all the property that they destroyed. And that adds up to $22 billion in today's money. So it's no easy thing to pay back, especially if you don't have an economy and nobody wants to buy your stuff. So we saddle Haiti with a whole lot of debt. To pay off their loans, they take really bad deals. And they take on high interest loans to help pay off the debt. So in order to prevent France from invading, they have to take loans to keep France from invading. But by taking these loans, they get more in debt. And so it's getting a credit card to pay off your other credit cards. It's a bad deal in the process. France, UK, Germany, and the US regularly send warships along the coast to demand that they pay off their debts. By 1913, so this is for the next 100 years, they continue to just pay off this $22 billion, but the debt gets worse because they take on debt and loans to pay off the debt and loans. By 1913, 80% of their economy is used to pay debt. And this is not fully paid off until 1947, so it takes them about 150 years to pay off that $22 billion. The French also demanded special trade status, and Haiti is desperate to end the French military war, so they take on whatever deals they can get. And so they grow their foreign trade through diplomatic recognition. And they're looking for alliances. They need help, and so they go with it. U.S. trades with Haiti, but we actually don't recognize their independence until 1862 during the Civil War, when we finally get rid of slavery. So once we get rid of slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation, we decide, okay, we're going to recognize this black country as, well, a black country. Fear of slave revolts really spread to a lot of the nearby slave countries, because a lot of the former slaves from Haiti, they moved to New Orleans, and so a lot of the former slave owners also moved to New Orleans, so the worry was that they would bring the rebellion with them. And so a lot of countries started to restrict immigration from Haiti. And news of abolition in Haiti started to spread to the slaves, so they're really worried that further slave rebellions would happen because they were successful in Haiti. Other great thing we got the Louisiana Purchase. This starts westward expansion, and so it's great for America, not so great for all the people that were already living on that land. It doubles the size of America, and we really start to become more powerful and recognized in world affairs. The United States is growing. Slavery expands into this territory, which in many ways is going to cause the Civil War, the expansion of slavery. Sugar production moves. So Haiti is no longer making sugar. So the main sugar producer is going to be the next island over, so that's going to be Cuba. Cuba becomes the next sugar producer, and slavery in Cuba expands a whole lot until eventually we're going to get a slave rebellion. But Cuba is one of the last places to get rid of slavery because they were making a lot of money on that sugar. U.S. slavery expands a whole lot with the Louisiana Purchase. So good news, more land. Bad news, more slavery. The Haitian Revolution does inspire others. Slavery is abolished in Chile, Argentina, and Jamaica eventually. And they also inspire Latin America to start to fight against colonialism and get rid of Spain, get rid of Portugal. So it inspires other revolutions, but it does, in the end, it results in more slavery in the short term. As far as their larger impact, they are the first nation to abolish slavery, the first nation to give civil rights to all races. The plantations are broken up and given to the people, so they have true freedom. They own their own land, they work their own farms. But in the process, family farms don't make big money. Sugar was big money, but just family farm, you feed yourself, but you don't make big money. So Haiti drops from the richest colony to one of the poorest countries in the world and in the Western Hemisphere. As far as why, there's a lot of debate as far as why they're poor. There's environmental destruction and all the burning and all the destruction just naturally, but also man-made. Fights over who owns the land. This debt, this $22 billion debt to France, definitely ruined their economy. And it doesn't get better, it just gets worse. The island was split in two from 1806 to 1820. After Dessalines died, we get another little civil war. For about 23 years, Boyer unites the whole island under his control, but then there's an earthquake that just causes depression and Boyer flees. And so just when things are going well, nature says, 1843 to 1849, there's power struggles between the leaders. The Dominican Republic splits away, so the island is split in half again. 49 to 59, we get an emperor that takes over for 10 years, but then it falls apart again, and we get alternating times of peace and overthrown leaders, back and forth, back and forth. And so dictatorship and peace, and that's kind of still where they're at. 1911, 1915, chaos, as in a short time, 6 leaders are killed or kicked out of the country. And because they owe so much money to America, we invade. 1915 and 1934, we occupy the country because we owed them, or the Haitians owed the Americans money. So the Marines invade, and we set up puppet rulers, and we set up their economy to make sure that they pay us back. Once we get paid back, we leave. But we do put in dictatorships that are going to make sure that we make money. And these aren't necessarily good dictatorships. And so we get elections and military coups until from 1957 all the way to 1986, the Duvalier family takes over. It's a Dr. Duvalier, so it's Papa Doc and Baby Doc Duvalier, setting up a military dictatorship. And 1986 to present, it's a struggle for democracy back and forth. And so we had these military dictatorships. Here's the Duvalier family. They finally get a free election in 1991, but it falls apart, and they get coup d'etat and military regimes back and forth, back and forth. As far as what they're making, mostly it's export markets. They're making shirts, clothing. Sugar is a very, very tiny piece. I think this little dot here is sugar, but mostly they make clothing to sell to other countries. They're not great when it comes to their economy. How much money they're making when it comes to, let's compare. This is how much money the average person is making, so maybe $1,000 per year, versus the average person in Latin America. Latin America is increasing over time. Haiti is pretty much stable in not making money. When it comes to poverty, about 59% of the population is living on less than $1 a day. It's not getting better. Life expectancy compared to Latin America, the average Haitian can live up to 60. As compared to Latin America, we're looking at 72. When it comes to education, so when it comes to those that are going to just elementary school, you get 60% going to elementary school. And so not too great compared to the rest of the world or Latin America for that matter. For a little brief moment, we do get democracy and calm with René Préval. And then the hurricanes and the earthquakes come, killing 300,000 people. They're still recovering from these earthquakes. Haiti pushes on, and they are the only country where the majority of farmers own the land they work. And then we get a bit of corruption. Sweet Mickey, who is a musician, and he plays kind of dance music, and some of it's quite dirty if you can look it up. There's a lot of corruption in his presidency, and there's corruption in the election of his successor. We get protests and riots. There were runoff elections. Eventually he steps down, and there's a provisional government set up in April, but as far as whether government stands, it's still up in the air. And so we'll see what happens to Haiti. They're admirable for ending slavery and getting independence, but they never really found their way as a new nation.